A science experiment on an alien planet gone wrong. The best hunter in the Federation is brought in to catch the mutant. Now, this is 1982's Forbidden Planet, also known as The Mutant, or Mutant. It's also known as Subject 20. Now, this is the first in our little series of videos that we're going to be doing in tribute to Roger Corman. Now, this is one of the films that Roger Corman produced.
Yeah.
And it is on, for today, our B movies, B bad, or B good segment, which I know we haven't done in quite a while. And I know I always say that I'm going to do more of them every time, and every time, time just gets away from me.
And something comes up.
Things come up, shit happens, other movies come out that we want to do. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
And as I stated in a short a little while ago, things have just been busy lately. But with the passing of Roger Corman, and Bill and I were talking about this, we wanted to do a couple things. We came up with reviews. We came up with the top 10 idea. We came up with, just different things to do for Roger Corman. So I think what we're going to do is I would like to do a review of a movie he produced, which we're doing.
Yep.
A top 10 of movies he directed.
Okay.
I would like to hopefully do a movie review of a movie he directed.
Yes.
And I'm kind of hoping for one of the Edgar Allan Poe ones. I really like those. Or maybe one from the 50s that I happen to really like. I'll save the title. But for now, we have 1982's Forbidden World. Stick around and let's do this. This was directed by Alan Holzman, and it stars Jesse Vint as Mike Colby. Some facts about this film. Well, one of the facts that I found to be truly funny, I didn't know until we watched the making of.
Yeah.
Some of the sets were made out of stolen fast food containers from McDonald's. They literally drove up while McDonald's was getting a delivery and stole the shit right out of the back of the truck, took it back, and built parts of the sets.
Yeah.
That to me is fucking hilarious. And I know which ones they're talking about, probably too. Those foam ones that would go, like the McNuggets and stuff would come in back because in the 80s, that's what they were all made out of.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this movie had a budget of less than $1 million.
But Roger Corman was always known for making things low budget.
Mm-hmm. And one of the funny things about that is that he actually gave money back to the studio that he thought he didn't need. So that's why it was less than $1 million, because he was actually given $1 million to make this movie.
Yep.
And it brought in over $4 million. Now, not a gigantic success. It's not a summer blockbuster, but in 1982,
that's
$4 million on a B movie is pretty damn good.
That's a lot of money for a B movie.
That's like today when they made, Terrifier for $100,000 and they brought in $5-6 million, whatever, when they put it in, or Terrifier 2, sorry. When they made Terrifier 2 for a couple $100,000, they brought in $5 or $6 million on it. That's pretty cool.
That's good.
And it did well enough that this film's become popular enough. It did gain a remake in 1991 called Dead Space. Not related to the video game, even though I did check to see if that's where they got the idea. There is some similarities, but it's also similar to Alien. You could say they took as much from Alien as they did from Roger Corman.
Well, yeah.
But then again, as Roger Corman told the director, I want to rip off Alien. He also told the director, Alan Holzman, that when Alan Holzman wanted the job, because he was one of Roger's proteges. Now, Roger had a lot of proteges, including some very famous ones. James Cameron.
Yep.
Francis Ford Coppola. Ron Howard. A lot of big-name directors came out of the Roger Corman School of Filmmaking. But he told Alan, he said, I've got a set. I'm giving you 4 days to write, produce, and direct an opening of a space movie about 7 to 8 minutes. I'm going to give you a robot and an actor, and you have to come up with, or as he put it, a spaceman.
Yeah.
And if you want any inspiration, I've always wanted to do Lawrence of Arabia in space. He took that, he made his little film out of some footage he took from other movies and footage of his dog, which I thought was like, okay, footage of his dog, cool. And he presented it to Roger. Roger liked it, said, here you go, here's your keys to this movie, Made
Have
the
fun.
director. The one last thing I want to talk about is this movie had multiple people working on special effects.
Yes.
But the person that's actually given credit as the special effects designer is John Buechler, who you may know, or Beckler, I'm not sure how it's said exactly. You may know from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. He was the director of that film, which I still say is a shame that they just cut that movie to shreds with the critic or with the censors.
Yeah.
Because this guy's a special effects guy, and they took out all the great special effects shots, giving us the rather forgettable movie we have now.
Yes.
Anyways, back to this one, though. That's Friday the 13th. Now we're talking about Forbidden World.
Yes.
They brought him in after, everything was filmed. They realized we needed more scenes of the monster, and we needed a way to make the monster die. And so, a better way to make him die. So they brought him in, and he did some extra stuff, did some more scenes, and figured out a way to make the monster die. And it was pretty cool.
It was good, yes.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty good, especially when they explained what they did or used.
Yeah.
For 1982 B movie, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's decent.
And, let's just start with our pros and cons. And I have less cons than I have pros, so because I did like this movie, and I'm pretty sure you did.
Yes, yes. It's a good movie.
I enjoyed this one. Like I said, this is a B movie. So, of course, we're going to give it our rating, but I did pretty much enjoy this. But we do have some pros and cons, so we're going to see where it ends up. Now, I'm going to go with, even though they brought in Buechler to do some reshoots and make some more parts for the monster, we still got way too little of the monster, in my opinion.
I thought it was best that way because sometimes seeing less is better. It is. In low-budget films, sometimes you can't have the greatest looking monster. So it's better not to see the monster that much.
I agree with your train of thought if it's something like Alien, where you have Ripley, who's a great filmmaker, or Ridley Scott, who's a great filmmaker, not Ripley. Ridley Scott is a great filmmaker, or you have Jaws with Steven Spielberg, who's a great filmmaker.
Well, and it didn't look good.
But, they didn't
look good.
But they knew how to make it work. And this one, I liked the way it looked when we saw the full body. I thought it looked pretty good, and I think we could have seen some more of it. That was just my thought on it.
No, I thought it was good enough.
Okay. Well, what kind of cons did you have for this? Because that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, my biggest con for this movie is Dawn Dunlap. They got her ass at the last minute to do this film. And let's face it, she can't fucking act her way out of a goddamn box.
The director still said he liked her a lot. Thought she was a godsend, he said.
Yeah, maybe she blew him, I don't know. But good Lord, she just seemed very robotic, very, just speaking lines, not actually giving any real, I don't know what to call it, any real emotion, really. And all she did was scream a lot of times. It's like she's behind a monitor, she's screaming, like, oh, good Lord. Stop.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you saying that she is the Tina of the science fiction world? Or what was his name? What was the name of it? Willie from Temple of Doom of the science fiction world. Screaming and can't act. Screaming and can't act probably blew the director. That's more in common with Willie because, she was married to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I liked her, but it wasn't for her acting ability. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Definitely not her acting ability. She is just fucking annoying. Okay. Do you have anything else?
That's it for cons.
Okay. There's one more con I have for this film. I didn't think it made any sense while we're having this sex scene to switch from that to this pervert guy's face watching them, just switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I found that fucking annoying.
I think it made sense, but it was weird
too much.
Creepy. Yes,
it was too much. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, we had this pretty hot sex scene, and then we got this guy watching them on a surveillance monitor, basically. He's all going he's playing with this yo-yo-esque toy, at the same time, and it's like, dude, are you getting off? What's the?
It wasn't needed.
Hey, he got his just desserts.
Okay, the fucking scene like that was not needed that way. Really was not.
He died. He got his just desserts.
That's not the point.
Going off of your point, though, I would like to start my pros. And no, it's not the same pro, but it's close. Right? After that guy, when he goes off to find the monster or whatever and he gets taken out, they keep going with the sex scene, and they actually have him being killed's death scene interspacing between. And I thought that was really cool to put the... I don't know if I want to use the word beautiful, but, like kind of sexy. It was kind of like a beautiful sex scene. It wasn't like a softcore porn sex scene. Bow, chicka, bow. It was kind of like a soft, kind of like, romantic kind of sex scene. So you're taking the quote-unquote beautiful and the violent, and you're mixing them together, and you're, putting it like that. And it kind of, like I said, was the just desserts. First, this guy is like getting his rocks off. Well, now he's getting fucking cooked while the sex is still going on.
Yes.
So that was the part of it I liked, of that same sequence. And that's what I wanted to leave in my pros. I thought that was a very cool way to shoot that.
Okay, yeah, that I do agree with. Okay, my first pro for this film. I love the practical effects. Who would not love the practical effects? And the set designs. Oh, I don't care if all they did was one little studio building. They did a great job with their sets and making them out of fast food containers, okay? Mm-hmm. They did a great job with it, and it made for a great atmosphere of the film. My favorite part of this film, my favorite set design, and this is kind of disgusting, they actually used real dead animals. They went to
and like the experimentation.
Yeah, and the experimentation part. They actually went to a shelter and got dead animals, a bunch of dead
frozen animals and
put them in there. Mm-hmm. But that scene looks so great. Whenever we're in that area, it looks so amazing.
Yeah, it does look really good. And if I didn't know they were real, I would have thought they just made those from props. But we found out that they were real, but at least it was from a vet's office, and they already
dead.
Put down at least. So it's not like they were killing the animals on set, like in Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
Biggest pro for this movie, and you can call me whatever you want. I don't care. You can call me sexist. You can call me a pig. I am a straight, proud male, and proud of it.
Yes.
My favorite thing in this movie is the fucking TNA. We have TNA after TNA after TNA in this movie. It's a Roger Corman produced flick. What do you expect?
It's a B movie. And you have to have it.
Not only do we have TNA, but it's good TNA. Like, these chicks are hot.
Yeah, one can't act her way out of a box, but...
And we get full fucking frontal.
Hell
Yay!
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't care if people don't like that. Eat a dick.
Oh, well. Okay, my next pro for this film. I love our crazy-ass, chain-smoking mad scientist.
Yeah, he was fun.
I love this guy. And apparently this guy wasn't acting. This is
the way he was.
This is the way he was.
Yeah, supposedly they said he was just like that in real life, and that was kind of cool. I was like, yeah, that's weird.
Okay, yeah, I can see why this guy hit the role so well. It's like, okay, so he's crazy in real life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, you know what's funny is that reminds me of is that the original vocalist for the Sex Pistols was not Johnny Rotten, like a lot of people think. Mm. There was another guy, I can't remember his name before him, he looked a lot like Johnny Rotten, actually. They looked a lot alike, and they sounded a lot alike, too, but he was literally crazy. Like, he was like that. Well, he was like that on stage and off. I mean, he was just fucking nuts. One of the things that I really loved in this movie, though, was the look of the monster. I thought they did a really good job for a 1982 B film.
For a B movie, come on.
I got to give them props. But I got to give them props. Yes, straight up rip off of fucking Alien.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
They just made the head a little bigger, and the body had a few more tentacles and like claws or whatever. Yeah. But I thought it was cool looking. I thought it was good for what it was. And, they did a good job. And I made the joke to him that somebody behind the door, because there's a scene where the girl is racing around corridors, and
Yeah.
she's getting scared because it keeps popping out on her. I told them there's somebody behind each corner pushing a cart out with the alien head on it. And
Yeah.
you know, I was just like, that's probably what it was. But I liked it. I thought it looked cool for a B movie like that. How many of these B movies do we see where, especially nowadays, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody at all, because you do what you can and you do with the budget you're given, but where a lot of times it's literally a computerized, and not a good computerized CG monster or something, but something that was just like filmed,
Throw
they
it
took
on
like
there.
a picture of it and then just kind of threw it in there, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. So, you know, that's just something I wanted to, you know, I do enjoy that. I like the fact that they gave some effort and actually made this creature and tried to make it look good.
And I love the fact that this creature does evolve throughout the movie. It doesn't stay the exact same. It goes from one thing to another to our final product.
Yes, that is also very cool. I do enjoy that as well. And that goes into what I want to say next, but I'll let you go ahead first, so go ahead.
All right, my last pro for this film. I actually do like the design of his robot. I thought it was decent for an 80s low budget film.
Yeah.
Of course, that suit was
It did
awkward for whoever was in it to
it did
move,
it did
but
hide
still.
the fact, kind of like they did with C-3PO. It hid the fact pretty well. I mean, we all knew, but it hid the fact well enough that there was somebody in the suit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it looked cool. It looked pretty cool to me.
And to just kind of piggyback off that, my final pro is, I'm not talking about the costume effects, but the makeup effects. Now, even though I said, the mutant wasn't seen enough, we did get enough film to see how well done the effects were on that. But also, the effects were really good on, like, the makeup effects for, like, one guy's body melting and hands coming off and limbs, you know, and all this kind of stuff, this grotesque, you know, the foam coming out of the alien's mouth at the end, or the bile, which was a throw up, you know, that turned out to be some sort of foam that actually, if you got it on your skin, burned you. Like in real life, not in the movie, but it burned you. But, you know, it was cool. It was just something, I liked the look of all of that stuff. It really reminded me of almost like Evil Dead in a way, not by, like, you know, having the same effects or doing the same things, but just kind of making it up and figuring out what to make it look good, even though it's not very high budget.
And having fun while they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, guys, that's it for all of our pros and cons. The last thing I want to say about this, and this is just a Brad thing thrown in. This really doesn't have much to do with the movie. A lot of the people that hate on one of my favorite release companies, Wild Eye, will allude to the fact that Wild Eye puts out movies with these great covers. Like, everybody agrees Wild Eye has some of the best covers. But then the movie doesn't stack up to the cover, the picture. And that the monster doesn't look like the one it was on the cover. Well, you know what?
That happens all the time.
They're not the only ones.
That happens all the time. Roger Corman was known for that.
Tell me that looks anything like the product, the movie, or the creature in the movie.
No.
And there was no slave girls being chained to rocks in the movie either.
Whatever.
You know. But the reason I point that out, like you said, this is something that they've done in movies throughout the history of time.
Yeah.
Even the name Forbidden World, people talk about, Wild Eye always changes the name of movies to give them a different name. They did that with this movie. It was called Mutant, and it never got released until the DVD came out. And back in like 2001 or whatever, when the DVD version of it came out.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, it's time for that ranking. Be bad or be good?
Yeah, this one's a big good for me.
Be good all the way.
Hell yeah.
Much love. Rest in peace, Roger Corman.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next time with our Roger Corman Top 10 in a couple weeks when he and I get back together. And then after that, we'll see you with our next part a couple weeks after that.
Yep.
This is Bronco Juggalo saying peace.
And Bill saying good night.